Most anime have a nice main character who embodies noble qualities and a sense of righteousness. These characters are typically driven by a strong sense of justice, a desire to protect others, and a willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. Or in other words, a little goody two-shoes. Sometimes you have a main character that is more of an anti-hero. These characters are typically portrayed more as flawed or morally ambiguous characters who possess some redeeming qualities despite their questionable behaviours.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
They often act outside of societal norms and may exhibit traits like selfishness, cynicism, or a disregard for authority. However, they often have a sense of justice or a moral code that drives their actions. Examples being someone like Lelouch from Code Geass or Guts from Berserk. Once in a while, you get a main character who goes completely off the rails. Someone who is completely morally corrupt. A crazy mofo. What makes an anime like Zankyou No Terror quite interesting is that its main characters 9 and 12 don't quite fit an archetype. They orchestrate a series of terrorist attacks in Tokyo targeting symbolic locations, but their motivations and ultimate goals remain a mystery. We gradually learn that 9 and 12's actions are born out of a desire to be heard and to expose the apathy and indifference to society.
We live in a society!
They function as catalysts for change, using terrorism as a means to disrupt the status quo and provoke a response from the government and the general public. While they engage in morally questionable actions, they don't fully embody the characteristics often associated with anti-heroes. Their actions aren't driven by personal gain or revenge, nor do they have an explicit sense of justice. The anime does a great job of portraying the consequences of 9 and 12's acts by underscoring the human cost of their actions, emphasizing the potential harm and fear inflicted on those who directly aren't involved in their mission. 9 and 12's acts disrupt the lives of innocent people and instill fear in the general public, as well as putting lives at risk. While their motivations may be rooted in a desire for change, the means they employ are extreme and cause harm to others and blur the line between justice and vigilantism. Ultimately, Zankyou No Terror's main characters defy simple classification, such as heroes, villains, anti-heroes, or even morally ambiguous figures. They exist in a nuanced realm, forcing viewers to grapple with the multifaceted nature of their actions, motivations, and the societal factors that shape them. At its core, Zankyou No Terror explores themes of alienation, identity, and the struggle for meaning in a world that has become indifferent and apathetic. Lisa Mishima, a companion to the boys, is a great example of how deep loneliness and longing for a connection can attract one to almost anything. Red pill YouTubers. She feels invisible and disconnected from others. 9 and 12 offer her a sense of belonging and purpose, something she deeply craves. What's especially interesting is how the anime doesn't shy away from critiquing the role of the government and the media in shaping public opinion or manipulating the truth. It raises questions about the moral implications of sacrificing individual lives for the sake of maintaining social order and control. I don't want to say it was ahead of its time, as it came out in the last decade, but its message is definitely relevant in today's day and age. Although the anime can be seen as two edgy teenagers having a blast, the messages and themes of societal indifference, moral ambiguity, and the complexities of justice are told with Zankyou No Terror's symbolism and visual elements. If you know anything about the creator of Zankyou No Terror, Shinichiro Watanabe, you would know how often his works touch upon social and cultural themes, presenting commentary on the various aspects of society. Samurai Champloo, for example, explores the identity and cultural clash of its protagonists, as well as challenging traditional notions of samurai honor, bushido, and identity. In a similar way, Cowboy Bebop touches upon the existential loneliness experienced by its characters, as well as the exploration of corruption and unchecked capitalism. Bebop also coincidentally has a Bomber episode with Teddy Bomber, which could have been an inspiration for Zankyou No Terror. We will not talk about the live adaptation of Cowboy Bebop. I won't spoil the ending or any major plot points of Zankyou No Terror, as this is an anime you have to watch for yourself, but I do think there are quite a few flaws in Zankyou No Terror, probably why it's not as well regarded as Watanabe's other works. There are clear issues with the anime's pacing during the middle of the series, and the introduction of a certain character results in the anime going off the tracks from its overall message. The time spent on the plot of the series could have been used to further explore the themes of societal impacts of the actions of 9 and 12, or the motivations and backgrounds of some of the side characters a bit more. I think it's difficult to execute a story like Zankyou No Terror, some parts of the story being a tad bit unrealistic. I ain't gonna spoil anything, but some of the plot devices in this anime are just like...
Hey yo, what the f?
Regardless, Zankyou No Terror offers a unique and thought-provoking viewing experience with amazing visuals. I mean, just look at this cinematography. And I don't think I need to talk about Yoko Kanno and how her musical genius plays a significant role in many of Watanabe's series, with Zankyou No Terror being no exception. Overall,
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck.